What if I told you that right now, in this exact moment, you're hearing these words, but there's nobody actually hearing them? That the you've been carrying around your entire life, protecting, defending, trying to improve, is nothing more than a convincing illusion. A phantom that feels so real you'd bet your life on its existence, yet dissolves the moment you actually look for it. Your mind is already preparing its defense. Of course I exist. I'm here. I have a name, a history, a body, thoughts, feelings. I make decisions. I have preferences. How dare you suggest I'm not real? And that voice right there, that argument forming in your head, that's the illusion at work. That's the phantom defending its own existence. Because if there's one thing a ghost fears most, it's being seen for what it really is: nothing. Here's the truth that changed everything for me. The person you think you are is a story. A narrative constructed by your brain to make sense of billions of disconnected moments. Your mind takes snapshots of experience, strings them together like beads on a thread, and calls it my life. But that thread, that continuity, that sense of being the same person who was born decades ago and will die decades from now, it's a fabrication. A useful one, but a fabrication nonetheless. Think about a movie. You watch it and you see a continuous story unfolding. But you know it's not actually continuous. It's thousands of individual frames flashing by so quickly that your brain stitches them together into the illusion of movement, of flow, of story. That's exactly what's happening with your sense of self. Individual moments of awareness, individual snapshots of experience, flashing by so quickly that your brain creates the illusion of a continuous you moving through time. But there is no you moving through time. There's only this moment, this breath, this awareness. And in the next moment, there will be that moment, that breath, that awareness, each one complete in itself, each one fresh, new, unconnected to the one before, except through the story your mind tells about them. Try this right now. Close your eyes and try to find yourself. Not your body, not your thoughts, not your feelings, but you, the essential you, the thing you point to when you say I or me. Where is it? What is it? Is it in your chest? Your head, spread throughout your body, floating somewhere around you? Really look, search for it with genuine curiosity. What you'll find, if you look honestly, is that there's nothing there, no solid thing you can point to and say, there, that's me. You might find thoughts about yourself, sensations in your body, memories of your past, but those aren't you. Those are things you're aware of. And if you're aware of them, you can't be them. The observer cannot be the observed. It's like trying to use your finger to touch the tip of that same finger, the subject trying to make itself an object, the eye trying to see itself. It's impossible. And that impossibility is the first crack in the illusion, the first hint that the self you've always believed in might not exist in the way you think. Here's where it gets even stranger. You believe you're a continuous entity, that the you from 10 years ago and the you right now are the same person. But are they? Your body has completely changed, your thoughts are different, your beliefs have evolved, your preferences have shifted, your memories of who you were are being rewritten in this present moment. So in what way are you the same person? The only thread connecting past you to present you is memory? But memory is notoriously unreliable. It's not a recording, it's a reconstruction. Every time you remember something, your brain rebuilds that memory from scratch, influenced by your current state, current beliefs, current emotions. You're not remembering the actual past, you're remembering your last reconstruction of the past. And that reconstruction is always being edited in the present. So if you are your memories, you're a story being constantly rewritten. If you are your body, you're a collection of atoms being continuously replaced. If you are your thoughts, you're a stream of mental activity with no stable core. If you are your feelings, you're a weather system of emotions constantly changing. Where in any of this is the solid, permanent, continuous self you believe yourself to be? The answer is nowhere. It doesn't exist, never has. The self is like a rainbow, appears real, you can see it. You can point to it, but try to touch it and there's nothing there. It's a trick of light, a phenomenon created by specific conditions. Change the conditions and the rainbow disappears. The self is the same. A phenomenon created by specific conditions, memory, sensation, thought, perception, all arising together in consciousness. It feels real. It appears solid. But it has no independent existence. when I really saw this, when this recognition landed not just in my mind, but in my entire being, it was like the bottom dropping out of everything I thought I knew. I'd spent 40 years building Jim Carrey, the funny guy, the movie star, the face everyone recognized. I'd invested everything into making this character real, solid, permanent, important. And then I looked for Jim Carrey and found nothing. Just a collection of ideas, memories, images, and stories that existed in minds, including my own, but had no actual substance. And here's what nobody tells you about this realization. It's not depressing. It's liberating. Every ounce of suffering you've ever experienced requires a self to suffer. Think about it. Anxiety is fear that something bad will happen to me. Depression is the belief that I am not enough. Anger is I have been wronged. Jealousy is I might lose something. Shame is I am bad. Every single emotional wound requires a me to be wounded. But if there's no real me, if the self is just a story consciousness tells itself, then who's suffering? Who's being wronged? Who's not enough? The phantom, the ghost, the character in a story, and you can't heal a phantom. You can only see that it was never real in the first place. This is what spiritual awakening actually is. Not gaining something new, not achieving some special state, but seeing through what was never true. Recognizing that the prison you've been trying to escape has no walls, that the problems you've been trying to solve were created by the very self that's trying to solve them, that the seeker is the sought, that the one trying to find themselves is the obstacle to finding. It's like spending your whole life trying to catch your shadow, running faster, trying harder, getting more strategic, and then one day you realize the shadow isn't a thing you can catch. It's just an absence of light created by your body blocking the sun. Stop trying to catch it and just stand still. See what you actually are. And the whole game ends. You are not a person having spiritual experiences. You are spiritual essence having a human experience. You are not consciousness inside a body. You are consciousness appearing as a body. You are not awareness contained within a mind. You are awareness in which the mind appears. The whole thing is backwards from what you've been taught. As we move into what I believe is the most important part of this conversation, I want to invite you to join us, because I'd rather this not be our last conversation. Think of it like this. You're watching a movie. On the screen, there's a character going through all kinds of drama, falling in love, facing challenges, experiencing triumphs and failures. And you're completely absorbed in the story, so absorbed that you forget you're sitting in a theater, you forget the screen, you forget the projector, you become identified with the character. Their joy is your joy. Their pain is your pain. Their story becomes your story. But then something happens. Maybe the film breaks. Maybe someone turns on the lights. Maybe you just suddenly remember where you are. And in that moment you realize you're not the character. You never were. You're the awareness watching the character. You're the space in which the whole movie appears. And the character's problems, dramas, and suffering, they have nothing to do with what you actually are. That's what's happening right now. You've been so identified with the character in the movie of your life that you've forgotten you're the awareness watching it all unfold. You've forgotten you're the screen on which it all appears. You've forgotten you're the space in which the entire drama is happening. And that space, that awareness, that consciousness, it's never been born. It will never die. It's untouched by any of the character's experiences. This isn't philosophy, this isn't theory, this is direct recognition available in this very moment. Right now, as you're hearing these words, notice that you're aware. Notice that there's an awareness here that knows you're hearing, knows you're thinking, knows sensations are arising, knows emotions are present. That awareness, that knowing, that's what you actually are. Not the content of awareness, not the things you're aware of, but the awareness itself. And here's the miracle. That awareness has no qualities, no age, no gender, no history, no wounds, no achievements, no story. It's just pure knowing, pure presence, pure being. And it's the same in you as it is in me, as it is in everyone. The sense of me and you exists in the story, in the character, in the dream. But in the awareness that's actually hearing these words, there's no separation, no division, no me separate from you. We're like waves on the ocean, each wave thinking it's separate, thinking it's an individual entity with its own existence. But every wave is just the ocean temporarily taking that form. The wave isn't separate from the ocean, it is the ocean. And when the wave crashes, the water doesn't disappear. It just returns to recognizing itself as ocean, returns to its original nature. You are that ocean pretending to be a wave, pretending so convincingly that you've forgotten what you are. And every bit of suffering in your life comes from the wave, worrying about its survival, its success, its significance. But the ocean doesn't need to survive. It already is. The ocean doesn't need to succeed. It's already complete. The ocean doesn't need to be significant. It's the source of all waves. When this recognition happens, when you see through the illusion of the separate self, life doesn't stop. The character continues. The person keeps functioning. Thoughts still think. Emotions still feel. The body still moves. But there's a profound shift in perspective. You're no longer trapped inside the character, looking out through its eyes, believing its story is the only reality. You're the awareness in which the character appears, watching the whole play unfold with compassion, humor, and an unshakable knowing that none of it is ultimately real. People ask me, if the self isn't real, then who's making decisions? Who's living this life? Who's responsible for actions? And the answer is nobody and everybody. Life is living itself. Consciousness is expressing itself through this form called a human being. Decisions arise from the totality of conditions in each moment. There's no separate you authoring your life, there's just life happening, awareness being aware of it happening, and a story the mind tells about a me to whom it's all happening. This isn't fatalism, it's freedom. When you're no longer identified with the separate self, when you're resting as the awareness in which everything appears, you're finally free to respond to life spontaneously, authentically, without the filter of, what does this mean about me? How does this affect my story? How do I need to protect or enhance myself? Actions still happen, but they arise from presence, from clarity, from the intelligence of awareness itself, not from the fearful, controlling, story-driven separate self that was never real in the first place. So what if the person you call you isn't real? What if you've been defending a phantom, improving a ghost, protecting something that has no existence outside of thought? What if every problem you've ever had was created by believing in this illusion? What if freedom isn't about making the self better, but seeing that there is no self to improve? This recognition is available right now, not in some future moment of enlightenment, not after years of meditation or spiritual practice. Right now, in this very moment, you can look, you can search, you can try to find this you that you believed in your whole life. And in that looking, in that honest searching, the illusion can be seen. And when it's seen, when you recognize that there's no solid self there, no permanent entity, no continuous you, separate from the flow of life, everything changes, not because you've gained something, but because you've lost the one thing that was weighing you down, limiting you, causing you to suffer. You've lost the belief in separation. The belief that you're a separate wave struggling to survive in a vast ocean. And what remains is the recognition, you are the ocean, you always have been, you always will be. The wave was just a temporary expression, a brief dance, a momentary form. And that ocean, that awareness, that consciousness that you actually are, it's never been born, it will never die. It's hearing these words right now, recognizing itself in these words, remembering what it forgot when it became hypnotized by the story of being a person. You don't exist, not as a separate self, not as the character you think you are, and that's the best news you'll ever hear. Because what you actually are is so much vaster, so much freer, so much more beautiful than any separate self could ever be. You are the infinite pretending to be finite, the eternal pretending to be temporary, the whole pretending to be a part. And the moment you see this, really see this, you're free. Not free to do whatever you want. Free from the belief that you were ever bound.